All right, so let's review this. Again, I have a shaky video because my document camera doesn't work right now for recording because its microphone doesn't work. So you're going to have to bear with me for a bit. All right, factor 8 minus 4y, just as a review from the last set of notes. We're trying to find the greatest common factor or the biggest number that goes into both of these terms. So in this case, 8 and 4, that's going to be 4. And 2 minus y. And the reason why we have 2 minus y left in the parentheses is because we undistributed a 4. So we're dividing both of these, we divided both of these terms by 4, and we got 8 divided by 4, which is 2, negative 4y divided by 4, which is negative y. We're going to do the same thing with this one. The GCF is 5, but keep in mind that's only the GCF of the coefficients. There are also common variables here, which are x, y, and z. So, because the GCF is 5xyz, we're going to be dividing both of these terms by 5xyz. And what that's going to do is it's going to cancel out a single x, a single y, and a single z from both of these terms, as well as dividing both of them by 5. So 15x cubed y cubed z cubed divided by 5xyz is going to be 3, because 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then we cancel out 1x, 1y, and 1z. So we get x squared, y squared, z squared. Now 5xyz, or negative 5xyz, divided by 5xyz, which is our GCF. Well, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and then all of these cancel out. So we're left with 1. So that's our little review. Now let's talk about the other rules that we've overlooked. If the polynomial is in standard form, the leading coefficient will be first. If the leading coefficient is negative, then the GCF that we undistribute is also going to be negative. So we can and should undistribute a negative. What this means is, for example, negative 4x plus 2, the GCF would normally be 2, but because this negative 4x is our leading term, and negative 4 is our leading coefficient, which is negative, we have to undistribute a negative 2 instead. And what that's going to do is it's going to flip the sign of everything in the parentheses. This is important for, I think, 2 classes from now. So this is going to be the REF6 and 7 notes, if I'm not mistaken. So negative 4x divided by negative 2 is going to be positive 2x. Positive 2 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 1. Okay, negative y squared plus 7, we're going to do the same thing. This time the GCF is just negative 1 because there are no common factors and no common variables here, aside from 1. So we've got negative 1, and then y squared, and then minus 7. Because 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. Negative y squared divided by negative 1 is positive y squared. All right, negative 18x cubed minus 14x. This time we have a common variable. So our GCF is going to be negative 2. But the common variable means that we have to also pull out an x. And I almost forgot to do that for a second. So that's negative 2x. And then negative 18x cubed divided by negative 2x. Again, this is an x. Negative 18x cubed divided by negative 2x is going to be 9x squared, because one of the x's is going to cancel out from that x cubed. So we get 9x squared, and then negative 14x divided by negative 2x. Negative 14x divided by negative 2x is going to be positive 7. The other rule is that if every term in the polynomial has a variable raised to a power, and that power is larger than 1, you can and should undistribute the common variable as usual. So we undistribute the common variable with its lowest exponent. And let me do the first one, and hopefully it'll explain why we use the lowest exponent. So here we have 6x cubed plus 5x squared. The common variable is just x, and the lowest exponent on it is squared. So what we can pull out as our GCF is x squared. Now keep in mind I only have to pull out x squared because there are no common factors between 6 and 5. So x squared is our GCF. And now we divide everything by x squared, and now 2 of the x's are going to cancel from both of these terms, not just one. So 6x cubed, when we divide it by x squared, we're only going to have 1 of the x's left, so that's 6x. Then 5x squared divided by x squared is just going to be positive 5. Now this time, our common variable is x once again, and the lowest power is to the 5th power. So we're going to pull out an x to the 5th, and we're going to divide everything by x to the 5th. What that's going to do is it's going to cancel out 5 x's from both of these terms. It's going to cancel out 5 x's from both of these terms. So we've got 2x to the 5th divided by x to the 5th. That's going to get rid of all 5 of the x's and be left with positive 2. Minus 3x to the 5th y divided by x to the 5th. That's once again going to get rid of all 5 of the x's, and we're going to be left with minus 3y. All right, now, here we go. Common variables are x and y for this third one. We've got x to the 4th, y to the 5th, because these are the lowest exponents. There are no common factors between 7 and 2, so we don't have to write anything in front of that. Now we're going to divide everything by x to the 4th, y to the 5th, which is going to get rid of 4 of the x's and 5 of the y's from both of these terms. So now 7x to the 5th, y to the 5th divided by x to the 4th, y to the 5th is going to be 7x, and 2x to the 4th, y to the 5th divided by x to the 4th, y to the 5th is going to be positive 2. Okay. I'm going to do these two, and then pause the video, and I'll write the answers for the next few. Actually, pause the video now, and then I'll write the answers for the last 4. Okay. Keep in mind this one has a negative leading coefficient. Also keep in mind that the reason why these two have GCFs that whereas these 3 didn't was because there's a common factor between 6 and negative 3, and there's a common factor between negative 12 and positive 22. The greatest common factor between 6 and negative 3 is positive 3, and the greatest common factor between negative 12 and positive 22, since negative 12 is the leading coefficient, is negative 2. All right, 9y squared plus 3y cubed. We got some common variables here. The common factor between 9 and 3 is 3. And then we can pull out a y squared. 9y squared divided by 3y squared is 3. 3y cubed divided by 3y squared is y. All right, and now for the last one. Ooh. Oh no, this will be fine. I thought I didn't have enough space for a second, but yeah, no, this is fine. All right, that should be good. So check your answers. If you have any questions, please email me, but I have to cut this video off before my phone runs out of battery.